What it is, what it do, folks. It's been a while, right? My boys, LJ and Stevie, you know what I mean? They wanted to go on the other side of town and all that. They wanted to get sick with the little Mexican food and all that. But how was the trip, though, fellas? How was the trip?
Yeah.
Everything good?
Shit was lit.
All fun and games, actually.
That shit was lit.
Like
You got some color?
Part, of course.
Yeah, you ain't as pale no more, bro. You ain't as pale no more. It's all good.
Finally got some color.
That's a fact. That is a fact. And other than that, before we get in tune with the show, Smitty, how you been over there on your side, man?
Yeah, man, just running things over here. Been busy with Hoops podcast, so yeah, man, just trying to stay on top of everything.
That's a fact, bro. We all been going through it. As y'all know, my phone is still broke, but I will have it fixed by the first week of next month, so we will be back lit. But we not gonna hold y'all up anymore. Y'all know our faces. Y'all know our names. Y'all know this is past, present, future, and we just gonna get straight into that bag. You feel me? We blew 3 20-point leads, man. First time in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken, in 25 years that has happened. Unfortunately, it's happened with the New York Knicks squad. We blew a lead against Portland, G League team. We blew a game against OKC, another G League team. We blew a game against Brooklyn yesterday. And we got smoked by Cam Thomas, a rookie we could have drafted. Matter of fact, LJ, just go ahead, man. Start us up, bro. Just start us up, man, because woo!
Nah, yeah, man. It seems like the Knicks are setting all types of bad records. First to start it off, we had the worst starting five in history. Then, then this, it's just all adding up. So it's not really looking fabulous. But yeah, I think the most detriment. I'm gonna tell you a story that actually happened to me today that I told Stevie about.
Okay.
Some guy saw I was walking because I work in the city, so I walk by the garden a lot. And some guy saw my hat, and he was like, how about that win last night?" And I looked at him. I was like, "What you talking about, bro?" I thought he was trolling. I was like, "What you talking about, bro?" And he's like, "Yo, they was up by 28. I turned it off. I knew it was GG. This, that." I'm like, "Yo, bro, we lost, right?" He was like, "Say word." He was like, "How much we lost by?" Yo, I was like, "Yo, bro, we lost by 5. Where you been at?" He was like, and he started flipping out in the middle of the street. It was like, "Yo, no fucking way. This, that." Yo, bro. Honestly, I think it's safe to say that there's something obviously wrong with the energy towards the stretch. They gotta be gassed. They have to be gassed. That is the only way, because they put in so much work to be up by 28 points. You know how much work you have to put in to be up by 28?
A lot.
You know what I mean? So, and I've noticed something about that game. If you look at the squad, you saw the Nets changing their squad based off like who was good in the certain moment. They kept the squad in when they knew they found the right pieces. The Knicks, I feel like they only made like one sub in the entire fourth quarter. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
And it's the bad sub at that.
You know what I mean? And like these guys are getting ran 30 plus minutes, and they're going against guys that have rest coming on and off the bench. You know what I mean? I feel like the biggest problem in all these games is Tibbs leaves these guys in for too long. He needs to be more situational. Because we said it when we first got Tibbs. He needs to be a situational coach, and that was his problem. Now it's kind of showing like that is the biggest problem. Because this is why we can't hold these leads. It's not the guys. It has to be that they're tired. It has to be, because we're up 28, and then fourth quarter, we even won the third quarter.
We definitely did. And that was the thing that killed me. I was like, whoa, we won the quarter and we still lost.
And we still lost. You know what I mean? And then, I'm gonna pass off to Smitty, because Smitty said something about, Tibbs doing like, play calls and stuff like that. So like, that could also, play a role into that.
Yeah, man. What do we know? What do we say? We know what Tibbs is like. Everyone knows what Tibbs is like. That's part of the NBA world. I was actually having a discussion, funny, the other day on Nick's page on Facebook, like a group. And someone was there trying to defend Tibbs. And then there was another guy pointing out a few good points. And then he's like, I think he was top 5 in offense in his time at Chicago every year the team was, and all this sort of stuff. But then like they were talking about, and I was like, that seems a bit dubious. So, and he also then I went and looked at all the stats. And so he's done the same thing everywhere he's gone. We're just seeing it now, obviously, because Knicks fans, we're going to pay a bit more attention. But if you follow the game, which I know a lot of you do, you know, we were sort of knew we were going to be in for something like this. But yeah, man, he does the same thing at every team he goes. He relies heavily on players, and then he just gets complacent. So I know you're saying guys are tired, which we know he pumps guys like through training and all that sort of stuff. So that's definitely, I think there's a truth to that. But I also think so you get up 28 and then he's like, well, it's working, so just keep doing it. And and you know, it's funny because he was actually voted. This is what this guy used on this group that we're having a discussion. He's like, oh, you know, he was voted as like in whatever year as one of the best in-game adjustment makers as a coach in like the top 5 or something. He's making no in-game adjustments when we go up and get that lead.
What year was that?
It was actually, I think it was when he was in Minnesota, so it wasn't that long ago. But
It must have been that playoff year, I assume.
Yeah, the funny part is though, is he does it's not, there's no in-game adjustments. His adjustment is this: keep doing it. Oh, we're up, so it must work. And like, or his adjustment is, oh, I'll just keep the plays in. So it's not really an adjustment; it's the lack of. So his in-game adjustments, I feel these days, especially with our team, is, as you were talking about, is just leaving guys in for too long. It's like, oh, it's working. Like I think Randall played the full first quarter again, and Twitter was blowing up about it. And then last week we saw, and there was word, and he was caught on mic talking to one of the players. It was in one of the games that we lost. It might have been, I think, Trippy said it was the OKC game, and one of the players was saying to him on the sidelines in a timeout, man, the play's not working. We've run it like 3-4 times in a row. And his response was, what do you mean it's not effing working? Run it again. So, you know, and people talking about the definition of insanity, that's it right there. Yeah. That's stubbornness. That's refusal to believe that what you've drawn up or what you've come up with doesn't work. Just because it works in scrimmage, it doesn't mean it's going to work against certain teams. And he knows this. I mean, we're not coaches. We don't need to tell him this. We're just having our opinion on the topic, but he knows this. And this is the issue is he's faced in a lot of spots is he refuses to admit to himself in a lot of circumstances that he's wrong. So there is a massive issue with him. And then there's a massive issue with players buying into that system, I think. And that's what we've got is blind trust. And that's not a bad thing to be as a player, to trust your coach, but it is when you refuse to like have the conversation with other coaches or sit down and have that hard talk and say, man, honestly, we want to be better, but you're not allowing us to be.
And that messes with chemistry a lot too.
Yeah.
If your own player is telling you this is not working and you just completely backslap his comment, he's gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
That's right. Feel unheard.
And it's crazy that y'all say this because I'm looking like, yo, I don't know, man. Yo, Knicks Anonymous, y'all gotta get up on Twitter, bro. Y'all gotta get up on it. But I'm looking at the Strickland's post that I retweeted yesterday, right? It says Knicks play types, league-wide points/possession percentiles. Photo size represents possession/games, right? So for each category, you have, you know, your projected players coming from who's the worst at it and who's the best at it. But now, even though they are the best, depending on how much they get used in the game will tell you how big the picture is. You get what I'm saying? That's basically me explaining it without showing y'all it. So with spot up shooting, right? They got it to where I can't really tell who that is all the way at the end. I can't tell who that is. To me, that kind of looks like Taj Gibson, but it's mad small, so you can't count that. The next person up, and it's big, comes Quentin Grimes. So Quentin Grimes is the best spot-up shooter we got, followed by Evan, Burks, Rose, and Kemba. Then all the way when you get to 40%, because they was all above the 50% mark. Like Grimes is in like 93. You get what I'm saying? When you get to Evan starts getting to the 75% mark. Then they go from Evan to Kemba. So that's Evan, Burks, Rose, Kemba. That goes all the way from like 75 to about 69. Then the next person up after that is RJ Barrett. And you don't get to him until about 40%. Follow so on and so on. Now, reason why I brought up spot up is because there's two players we watched get left in the corner that's not their game. That goes to Cam Reddish. And that goes to Deuce when he did get burned. Why are you doing that, Tom? That don't make no sense. Then we got PR. We got the PR handle. You get what I'm saying? The person actually, for those that don't know what a PR handle is, that's the person that's actually, you know, controlling the rock, coming around the screen to set up the offense. He's not the roller. He's the guy holding the ball, actually doing what he got to do. Our best PR handler is Cam Reddish. He don't get no type of plays like that. The two people that he has doing it, which is Evan and Kim, because they next up. Mind you, Randall he's the second to last person on this list as of a PR handler, bro. He should not be doing that.
And that play goes to him every time, bro. Every time.
He does too much of it. Let's just put it out there. He does too much of it.
Boom. So you got that right. Now
that motion offense too. That toss up. I've literally seen teams cut the passing lane and them pass it regardless.
Boom.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to Tibbs's thing with, run it anyway. They're like, okay, fuck it, I'll run it, and then they turn it over, and then they get sit down on the bench. It's like it's a lose-lose.
That's been happening a lot lately, right? That's just been happening a lot.
You got that right. So now we got transition. Boom. Of course, we already know Obi's number one, right? So Obi and actually Burks are the best at that, followed by Evan and Cam. Followed by D Rose and RJ, which would make sense of why they in the middle, because they the main two that drive to the basket the most. Now, again, let's look at all the other guys. You got also on this list, you got Kemba, Grimes, IQ, Randall, Deuce. The same way I just said it, literally, Randall is the second to last one. Why is he always having the ball in his hand? Okay, boom. Now we got isolation. Of course, you got Rosen, Quickly, and RJ at the top, followed by Burks. Randall's seriously in the middle, so I'm not mad at that. Followed by Burks. All the way down, you have Evan and Deuce. Boom. Putbacks, obviously, that's gonna go straight to Mitch and Randall. But the thing that's pissing me off about putbacks, why is Taj and Noel all the way in the 30 to almost 10 percentile, and you got guards that are higher than them in putbacks, and you telling me Sims is not getting minutes over them too? Makes no sense, right?
And Taj his age may be getting to him, bro. Y'all saw that putback dunk?
Yeah, I'm not even mad at that. You get what I'm saying? Because we all knew Taj should have been a player coach. He should have been a player coach. Like, then we have the PR roller. Of course, Mitch is there. Of course, you got all our big men is there. Boom. The only person that got the lowest is Obi, because Obi really, nobody's paying attention. That's why we need a point guard. We're missing those easy joints, because as Obi becomes the roller, not only is he the last person in the roller, but he's the third best person on our team that comes to cuts. So obviously he's the worst roller, because as he's cutting, nobody's looking for
him. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Now we got handoffs, bro.
I fucking hate
when
that.
I'm looking at handoffs,
I can't stand that shit no more, man.
Bro, there's no Randall in this handoffs, so I don't know why Randall even does that. There's no Randall at all. You get what I'm saying? The biggest problem of our team is this off the screen and post up. When it comes to off the screen and post up literally has RJ at like 72, but he barely gets touches on that. While Randall is all the way at 10% mad big. You're not efficient at all. Makes no sense. And when you got off the screen, you got Grimes at 80%, but doesn't get used as much because we use Evan a lot. And he's like probably 53-ish, like 53%. So now we're reading all of these play types. What can y'all tell me that Tom is messing up at? Because we done hit on a whole lot just from reading this one paper, bro. Like, Tom does not know what he's doing with this group of people, bro. He doesn't.
And it's crazy because we're not even professionals and we have this information.
It kind of sounds like he's not playing to their strengths, and I don't see why. Based on what you just said.
And I think you touched on it a little bit earlier too. Like, based on this and from the information you got early, and I'm gonna let you bring it out there, like, how does that actually affect what you're about to tell us? And like, how does what we're reading right now basically affect Tom's job at the moment?
Wow, this might be shocking to everybody, but I don't think this affects his job at all. At least not yet. Not yet.
Please explain. Please.
I'm gonna tell you why. we can all criticize Tom Thibodeau. Everything we're saying is true. I'm not going to say don't criticize him. He deserves all the criticism he's getting right now. But you got to realize, bro, he's coming off a Coach of the Year season. So you got to give him the benefit of the doubt for at least 1 year. Because in recent history, you know how long most Knicks coaches last? 2 years. This is year 2. From 2010 to now, we went from D'Antoni to Woodson to Fisher to Hornacek,
Fizdale.
Now we got Tibbs. It's from 2010 to 2012. That's 6 coaches in 12 years. We can't pull the plug on Tom yet. Because if we put a plug on Tom now, we pretty much showing we didn't learn from the past. We got to let these guys develop. We got to let the young guys develop with Tom. I get it. Tom has a problem trusting young players. That's his problem. But if you notice, he started to say, I brought this up before too. I said this in a past episode. Mm-hmm. That's how he started with Jimmy Butler. He didn't trust Jimmy Butler at first. Remember, Jimmy Butler had to earn his minutes. Jimmy Butler is now a multi-time All-Star. He credits Tibbs for that. Him personally, like in his own words, he's credited Tibbs many times. So it's not that Tibbs doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know how to finish to that point. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't look like he doesn't know what he's doing.
No, I think I got it. I don't think it's that Tibbs doesn't know what he's doing.
The way I see it, for this season, we have to give him the benefit of the doubt because we're not that far off. We could, with the right draft pick and the right signings, we could turn this right around next year and it'd be like nothing happened this year. But should this continue into the middle of next season, fire that seat up.
I respect it. But piggyback on that, Smitty. Finish what you were saying. What else to add to that?
I don't think it's that Tibbs doesn't know what he's doing. I think it's that Tibbs thinks he knows that he's doing what he's doing more than he actually does. So, what I'm trying to say there is that there's a lack of moldability and accountability for the fact that the game has changed and that maybe Tibbs doesn't know everything like he might think he does. So that's not to say he doesn't know what he's doing as a coach. Like there's no doubt about that. There's a reason he has been a coach in the past. There's a reason he's a coach now. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think I do agree with Stevie there in some aspects, but at the same time, I don't want to get caught in this whole we haven't learnt from the past, so we shouldn't move on this time, because what we've done in the past is a little bit different. It's more like that whole everything needs to be in a New York minute. So we want success now. Whereas I think this time maybe I'd agree. I'd probably push it to halfway through next year. I wouldn't rush it per se and be like, oh, it's got to either happen now or in the off season. But I wouldn't want to get hung up on Tibbs, just because, New York doesn't want to look like it's still New York, the Knicks of old. We want to try and create a new brand, but holding on to toxic or, incorrect people for your team, in your life, whatever it is, it's never good. So that's the only thing I don't want to get hung up on. I hope the team doesn't. I think the team's a little bit better than that. But yeah, I know that there is that idea of, like, as you said, we've had 6 coaches in 12 years or something like that. So, every 2 years we get a new coach. But in the past, we've had really bad selections, let's be honest. My pick would have been JVG personally before Tibbs.
Yeah,
for sure. Because you see him on the games, man. And that's the last guy that took us to the finals, let's be honest. So
he's the only one that gives us
games.
Proof.
That's right. And he talks in the games and it's like, okay, like, and it is easy to talk from the outside. Like Alan Hahn made a great point and he's like, let's not forget, as much as you don't want to admit it or like to admit it, there is politics in benching vets and stuff like that, which is obviously why Tibbs is having a hard time. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's this, or it's easy, just do this, just do that. But obviously we're having our opinion. That's the point of what we do. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to get hung up on Tibbs. That's all. I'd like to see us move on when the time is right.
I don't know, man. I think, I'm kind of like, I'm stuck in between. It's like, I know it's the front office. Like it plays more than just pointing fingers, because as we know, Wild West is trying to point the finger at, Tom right now. But That's right. More than that, because if a coach is telling you that he needed a move to be made at that deadline, then it should have been made, because obviously he sees what's going on, right? But then as a front office, you have to sit there and understand that if you and your coach is not on the same page, nothing is going to be right. Because obviously, how do you go from 1 minute saying y'all don't want to just give up a person like Burks just for a second round pick because that's like undervaluing him, right? But then in the same token, now all of a sudden you didn't want certain players on this team. So it's like, what direction are we going? And I think that's what the main thing that we all as fans are mad about. It's like, bro, we still don't got a direction after all these years. That's what you're telling me? We still don't have a direction? Then it's like, you know, us as fans, we give RJ the benefit of the doubt because he's 21. But then we look at Randle like, yo, you've been in the league 9 years, but forgetting that he's only like 28. But it's still like, yo, I don't want to hear that you a young guy no more, bro. You've been in the league for 9 years.
And you had an all-star year last year.
We're not even going to talk about the all-star year. We're going to talk about the fact that you tried to sit there and make us forget that last year was your contract year. So you was going to go off regardless. Like, you get what I'm saying? You was going to, that's what we all watch, we all see. So when it comes to placing the blame, it goes 3 levels. It goes to the front office for not giving a clear-cut direction once the offseason happened. It goes to Tom because he doesn't know how to make any right adjustments. He doesn't know how to sit there and be like, the same way how he benched Kemba for mad long, he could have been doing that to other vets. He could have even told Evan to come off the bench. So we're not hearing that. And then on number 3, the biggest, if it has to be put on a player, is going straight to Randle, bro. Because had Randle been playing how he's playing now, we probably wouldn't even have this conversation right now. We probably wouldn't. Because at the end of the day, you're only as good as your lead act. Obviously, D-Rose went down, so that lead act already fell. Because obviously when D-Rose was here, that's why the second unit kept winning games for us, because he wasn't having it. D-Rose goes out, it all goes on Julius now. He can't take that pressure. And that's why I look at it like, if we really want to turn things around, in my opinion, we could keep Tom if you want, but that's only if when we come back after this break, he understands he got to play these kids. When it comes to the front office, I feel like Scott Perry is the guy that actually has to go, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but when Steve Mills was here, Scott Perry, the job that he has now, that's the job, like going to get these deals done and making the trades. That's actually Scott Perry's job. That's now his job now. When Steve Mills left, that's his job. So obviously Scott Perry couldn't get the job done. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we got a Wild West and a Leon Rose, but they've been moving solid since we knew them. They've been moving solid. Scott Perry is the guy that basically, I drafted this player for this, and everybody got connections, but what's up with these connections? Like, if you see that there was a problem and there was vets here, you should have found a way to get some type of draft capital or cash compensation. Because, bro, you had teams like, bro, you had the Lakers begging for Burks. Like, they was really begging for him, bro.
Utah, too.
They got Monk or somebody.
You get what I'm saying? Begging for him. Kemba, when it comes to Kemba Walker, we could have literally bought him out. We could have took that L. We could have took that L.
Having him play, go back to you. Having him play like 2 quarters and never seeing him again, that's not a rotation, bro. That's not a rotation. That's just, there's no chemistry in that whatsoever.
And not for nothing, he was killing in OKC. He was playing defense and everything, and they took him out for the whole game. Look at his stat line for that game. He had like 9 points, like 7 rebounds, like 6 assists, and like 2 steals and a block, I think, something like that.
Like, if you're gonna play, if you're gonna play and let him finish, you know what I mean? Like, if you're playing a guy, you gotta keep him in the rotation, because that's the rotation. You know what I mean?
It doesn't make sense to start him either and give him 17 minutes. What the fuck's the point of that? Let's be honest.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. You're not going to, we know Kemba Walker. All right. We've been watching Kemba Walker for a long time as fans of the game in general, right? We know what Kemba Walker's capable of. They know what Kemba Walker's capable of. I'll give you a quick thing. I put this on Twitter the other day, and I put a breakdown of basically what's happened with the Kemba Walker situation. So remember, he came in, he was slow. Everyone that knows anything about basketball was watching saying, this guy's not being Kemba Walker. He's not being aggressive. Then he gets benched. And then he comes out and actually, before he gets benched, Tom Thibodeau comes out and says, we've spoken to Kemba and we've told him, just play the way you play the game and we know we'll be all right. And then, so he publicly supports him. Then they rip him from the lineup. bring him back in only due to injury needing players. He plays aggressive. He wins player of the week. He comes out and says, this is how I needed to play at the start. I didn't want to step on any toes, but this is what it is, right? So he wins player of the week in amongst that. And then all of a sudden he's out with the knee thing, which I think was a bit dubious. It was like, another 8-game skid or something where he was out. And then bang, he's back in. It's very limited minutes. He's playing very cautiously again. It's almost like the start of the season. He's not attacking. He's not getting minutes, really. He's just getting started. I think this is my issue with Tibbs is he's playing games with the front office because they're having their spat or whatever. And then this is just affecting a player that probably could be helping us. People are calling him washed, and I'm like, nah, man. And he had 17 points in that game. He shows us what he can still do. And then he comes out and he goes, but before that, he comes out and goes, I'm just adjusting to a new role that's a non-scoring role. I've never done that in my career. So what changed? How do you go from winning player of the week to injured to back into, oh, now you're not going to be our scorer? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and that goes back into what we said. It's three problems. It's obvious.
I feel like the main problem I think is on the hierarchy above Tibbs because
front office with that one.
Yeah, because like you said, there's a lot of politics like going to stuff because he could have easily been like, you know, any coach would have benched Randall. I'm not gonna lie, like easily, like out of the NBA, like if he's in college, his ass is on the bench. I'm gonna tell you right now, you know, like without a doubt. So I think
that anybody would have put Randall on the bench when you find out he's played almost 32 more hours than the whole NBA. Just off a minute. Like if you combine his minutes, he's played almost 32 more hours than the whole NBA.
And he's not even that productive to get those many minutes. You know what I mean? Like
he's
you
not.
you got
his best. He's not.
Yeah, you know what I mean? you got to spread that out, bro. Like you gotta, you know, we can't be. Gibson is a fossil. Like I love Gibson. Everyone loves Gibson. He's the GOAT of New York, right? He's, you know, that's because that's starting to become like it was a joke, and now it's not a joke no more. Like I think Tibbs took that literally. Like when we said Taj Gibson was the GOAT, I think he was like, shit, this is the answer. No, we didn't mean that. We didn't mean that, bro. It was just a joke. You know, we got it. We have Sims. We have all these young guys on the, you know, if you see Sims, he's on the bench like this.
It's just
I feel bad, you know what I mean? I feel bad for the kid. He looks like he wants to jump out the gym. So let him jump out the gym.
He's dying to play, it looks like.
And then mind
you, I won't be surprised if the order comes from Dolan for Tibbs to play the kids.
I'm gonna be real with you. At this point, you don't want Dolan to get involved because we know how Dolan give it up if he get involved. Everybody going. I don't care.
Going.
But if he gets involved and makes them play the kids, I'm with it.
You got to understand the fact that you have media outlets saying how us fans need to boycott the Garden. Dolan ain't having that. Hold up, I'm about to lose money.
Nah, yeah, that's right. That hurts that team value, that high team value.
And then mind you, we got guys like Deuce over here in the G League. He goes back again, gets 23, 9, and 3. I had to pull out the Nerf gun for him, man.
I got the strap. This guy's strapped.
Nerf.
He's got the heater.
Free Deuce. I've been saying that for like a couple of months now. Free him.
My thing is this, man. I feel like, and look, we got 5 minutes left, right? So we're going to go straight to the offseason. Let's see what we can do to fix this. Now, if this is me to fix it, I don't care. We have a 1% chance of making the play-in. Forget the play-in. We're playing the kids. We're buying out Kimball right now. I'm sorry, we don't need your services. Next offseason, I'm finding out a package so I can get Evan out of here. I can get Burks the hell out of here, and I can go ahead and get Noel the hell out of here. I'm gonna find a way to get all three of them out of here, right? Boom. After I do that, me personally, and the way this is all shifting, if we don't decide to go get Tata Washington or Jaden Ivey, because if 9 times out of 10, the way we looking like we got the number 4th pick right now, but that's all depending on how the ping pong balls go. If we get that top 5 pick, 1 through 5, Jaden Ivey will be on this team. That's going to be great. That's the only reason why I got Tata over him, because with Tata, it looks like he will realistically fall on the board for us. You get what I'm saying? But we still have to keep a close lookout on how the end of the season plays out and these playoff teams, because there's a lot of teams on the West that want to come to the – not a lot of teams. There's a lot of players on the West that low-key want to come to the East. They just need to get that final, like, you know what? I gave it everything I got. I'm ready to go. So obviously, let's really see if they can go pull this Donovan Mitchell move. That's what I'm looking forward to, because it seems like that's what we're really trying to do. Because we didn't make any moves during the deadline, but it'll be way easier to go get a Donovan Mitchell during the offseason, because you got players and contracts to go ahead and ship them out.
If we get Donovan Mitchell,
Burks. So it's like, if you go get Donovan Mitchell, I'd rather give them the so-called quote unquote shooters we have with a defensive big to help out Rudy Gobert. So I would go ahead and be like, Evan, Burks, Noel, boom. Let me get Donovan Mitchell. I give him some picks, some cash. Boom. Go get him. Because like, if you look at the whole roster, when you look at from the starters and the bench, the 2, the 3, and the 4 spot is solidified.
Do you use that draft pick to get Mitchell?
Join the lottery?
Honestly, it depends. If it's top 10 and you get like 8 through 10, flip it. It's 1 through 5, you keep it.
I could agree with that.
Who's that center? Who's that guy you said, Stevie? Who's that kid?
Dude, I'm on the Chet Holmgren bandwagon.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Yo, that guy can ball, man.
Stretch 5.
Hey, we need a stretch 5. Chet Holmgren, nice.
You want to know why I'm not like, don't get me wrong. I'm still thinking like Mitch could possibly walk if we don't get this money right. And that's what messed us up by not making a move. So now, if Mitch doesn't go, cool. If Mitch does leave, bro, yo, what year we in? We in 2022? Yeah, I give you a 2024 first round pick. Let me get Mo Bamba. Let me get him right now. I bring him home. I easily bring him home.
Mo Bamba wouldn't be bad.
His form is crazy.
Would be good.
I'll bring Mo, have Sims come off the bench. I either go get Donovan Mitchell or draft Jaden Ivey or Tata Washington. Obviously, like I said, so my rotations would be whoever that point guard is, Grimes at the 2, RJ, of course, Randall, whoever's at the 5 if Mitch leaves, D-Rose, of course, IQ, Cam, Obi, whoever's at that 5. Because honestly, the 2 positions that's been messing us up all year is not just the PG position, bro. It's the PG and the center. Both of them spots is why we look horrible. Horrible. Because our best pick and roll guy can't stay healthy. It took Mitch forever to get healthy. These guards act like they don't know what they're doing. We don't want to give Deuce to Burn. Then when we gave Deuce to Burn, we did it in the wrong fashion and killed that whole vibe. And that's my last piece on that.
No, yeah. Honestly, the moral of the story for this episode, man, is we said it last episode, I think, too. Like, we need the young guys to play. Like you said, we have a 1% chance of making the play-in. At this point, what are we losing, you know?
Youth is the truth. Let's go for that number 1 pick, first time since, 85?
Let's go.
And you know the NBA still hate us for that. They still feel like we bricked that Patrick Ewing joint.
Frozen envelope.
All I know is this, man, and we can end it out like this, bro. When we come back from All-Star break, Deuce better be in that lineup. So I got Deuce better be in that lineup. Because you still got to see what value he has.